besides doing past exam papers, I recommend that you use these 3 websites to help you prepare for the IB Computer Science Paper 1 exam. These will apply for both higher level and standard level. The first website that we were going to be looking at is called CodingPad. So just go to codingpad.com. This is a website that will allow you to do some Java and Python practice problems depending on the language that you have learned. There are basically problems that are divided among different categories. So there's problems related to strings, arrays, and then also logic, so Boolean logic. And there are even some more advanced problem sets that deal with maps and functional programming. However, these are not necessary for the computer science exam. Let's just take a look at one of these problem sets. As you can see, there's a long list of problems for each problem set, and when you complete a problem, you will receive a green check. In case you want to save your progress and know which problems you've completed, you can create an account here, and that way your progress will be saved. However, it is not necessary to create an account. Let's take a look at one of these problems. So at the top here, you will see the question or the problem, and then at the bottom here, you will be given some sample inputs and then what the expected output is for those inputs. So when this method is run using the inputs 1, 2, and 3, this method should return false. So let's quickly solve this. Given an array of ints, return true if the array is length 1 or more, and the first element and the last element are equal. We could use a simple conditional statement. If nums.length greater than or equal to 1, and the first element, so num0 is the same as the last element. If that's the case, then we return true. Otherwise, return false. Okay, if we click on go, the code will be run. Misspelt. There we go. And that's the problem completed. And here they will show you all the test cases that your code will be run on. In this case, I got all of them correct, so they're all green. But if in case you mess up something, so for example, you don't do equal to 1, then as you can see, the case that you failed will show up red, and you won't have the full problem completed. The problems in array 1 might seem very easy at first. You're still maybe in your first year of the IB, or you're not very comfortable yet, then I'd recommend starting with array 1 or string 1. And then as you get better, you can move up to the more difficult problems in array 2 and array 3, because these are a bit more complicated. Then there is LeadCode. This is another website with some practice problems. These are a lot longer and they can get a lot more advanced, so there are some really challenging problems that are kind of out of the scope of IB computer science. But there are still useful problems here that will help you. To note, you will need an account to use this. It's free. There is a premium subscription in case you really need that, but it's totally unnecessary. Let's take a look at one of the easy problems here. Again, LeadCode allows you to use different languages, and unlike CodingPad, there's actually a lot more options. So in case you know any of these languages, you can do the solutions using them. But we're looking at Java. So here on the left, you will see the problem, which will be outlined here. Similarly to CodingPad, there will be some examples of what an input looks like and what the expected output is for that input. So then you just write your code here, and then you can run it. So this will just compile the code, and it will show you like 2 or 3 test cases. Once you pass those and your code works, you can submit, and the code will be run using more test cases. And if you pass all of them, then you have the problem solved. So that's LeadCode. And as I said, some of these get pretty advanced, so like the hard ones and the medium problems, they can get pretty difficult, but the ones on easy should be doable. And then finally, we have HackerRank. So this is another website that you can use to get practice problems for the programming. And on the side here, you can sort by the difficulty. And for HackerRank, I find that the easy and medium problems are okay, and the hard ones are just out of scope for the IB computer science syllabus. So let's look at one of these problems. It will ask you to make an account. However, it's not necessary. You can just click that away. Again, you will be given a problem. And here they will also give you the format of what your input will look like. So for this problem, it'll be a positive integer n, and then the constraints for this problem, any input will be between 1 and 100. Here we have the expected output format. And then at the bottom, we will also have a few examples of what certain inputs will be expected output. And then there's an explanation, which is quite useful. They explain why when you input 3, the output is weird. And those are actually pretty useful for certain problems which might not be very obvious. You can run it and submit it. So those are 3 useful websites that I highly recommend you use when you are preparing for your Computer Science Paper 1 exam. Again, both higher level and standard level are applicable. I hope you enjoyed this video and have a nice day.